Once again, another reason why I'm sticking to the front-facing camera of my iPhone for my reading content. Hi guys, this is Connie, and I'm going to, based on one person's recommendation or request actually, a big thank you to Stephanie Rockholm for catching the fact that chapter 18 of Connie Reads 8 Keys was incomplete. Again, technical difficulties. I don't need to waste more than the 30 seconds I already have. Well, let's reread. More like Connie rereads. Scroll through chapter 18 of 8 Keys. The title says, No More Franklin. They made me go to school the next morning, even though I said I'd rather stay home, especially because I said I'd rather stay home. Because I said I wanted to pretend I was suspended too. It was torture. Franklin wasn't on the school bus, just like I knew he wouldn't be. Were his parents mad at him for getting suspended? Franklin probably hated me. A big empty table waited for me at lunch. I watched the kids coming into the cafeteria. Soon, Caroline arrived, heading in Amanda's direction. But then she passed the table after table until she ended up at mine. Can I sit with you? No. I'm pretty sure in a minute or two this table will be full. I've been trying to talk to you for days. I ignored her and went back to my sandwich. Chew, 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 chew. Look, you're not the only person who's just ditched your oldest friend. I want to talk to you. Caroline looked mad. That was new. Well, I was super mad myself. But it didn't look like she was going anywhere. And what did she mean, ditched her oldest friend? I sighed. It's a free country. Caroline sat across from me and took out her turkey and cheese, her container of peaches, her Snapple. Why aren't you sitting with them? I've been trying to tell you. After the other day, what Amanda did to you, we had a big fight. Chew, 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 chew. I thought I could be friends with everyone I wanted to, that I could go between, as long as I didn't get in anyone's way. But Amanda... Anyway, I told her I wasn't going to hang out with her anymore. So you gave up a lousy friend. Big deal. It is. We've been friends forever, and it also means I lose Kate and Lindsay and Brennan and his friends because Amanda's always with them. It's a lot. Maybe that was a big deal. Maybe it was a big deal to decide to walk away from your friends, whatever the reason. So anyway, I wanted to say that I'm sorry. I didn't know that Amanda was being so mean to you. I thought it was just some name calling. I didn't know it was every day, and I didn't know about your lunch. And then it took a while for it to sink in, what was really going on. I couldn't believe it, how much she'd changed. I didn't want to. I was listening to her now, but something still seemed... wrong. So you think you can say all that and we'll be friends just like that? Hey, you don't have the best track record either. Look at Franklin. My ears felt very hot. But whatever. You've always been nice to me, even if you're grumpy today. Caroline decided to eat her sandwich then, as if she'd finally been invited to lunch. I think you guys will work it out, though. No, I said. It didn't make sense anymore, being friends. Make sense to who? I thought of the raw feeling I'd had in my stomach since I'd left Miss Hadley's office. I wondered if Franklin had one too. If he did, his was probably worse. Did he feel all ripped up, squished really small, smashed with the heel of a shoe, like a bug? What had really gone wrong with me and Franklin? And when? Why had being his friend gone from feeling just fine to feeling bad? And if it had felt bad to be his friend, why did it feel worse not to be? Caroline and I ate in silence. All that time she sat with Amanda when Amanda was being mean to me. and now she was willing to sit with me after I'd been horrible to Franklin. Maybe that didn't make her awful. Maybe she stuck with people, gave them chances. Maybe that was what friends did. Franklin had given me a lot of chances. What about the shaving cream in Amanda's lunch? Doesn't that bother you? Caroline shrugged. It's not like you started it. She had it coming. Did Franklin really do that all by himself? Well, Franklin really had taken care of everything, but he did it for me. Why can't you be friends anymore? Are you sure? I didn't feel sure about anything. Are you worried? I asked. About what Amanda will do to you. Oh, no. No? Caroline shook her head. Then she tapped it. I've got 6 years of secrets up here. I don't think she'll be trying anything on me. Aunt Bessie picked me up after detention. Amanda and I had earned ourselves a week's worth. Uncle Hugh was waiting on the porch when I got home. How'd it go? He asked, patting the blue painted boards next to him for me to sit down. I dropped my backpack and sat. I had to scrape gum off the bottom of desks with Amanda for an hour. Did you talk? Work things out? No, she tried to leave gum wads where I could step in them. Things will get better, Uncle Hugh said. You will make them better. I can't make anything better. On the contrary, said Uncle Hugh. You're the only one who can. Start by calling Franklin. Are you going to make me do that? I asked. I'm not going to make you do anything. What kind of apology is, my uncle said I had to call you. Anything you do should come from you. Franklin was at school the next day. I left a seat open next to me on the bus, but he didn't sit there. He passed my table at lunch, too. Those were the hardest tests yet. But I didn't call after him. I didn't try to explain. The next couple days after that went pretty much the same way. After my last detention, I walked to Leonard's. In front of the hardware store was a familiar car, Mrs. White's. I thought about running away, but I was already too close. She spotted me when she climbed out of the car. Elise! Hi, Mrs. White. What are you doing here? I had to find a parking space. Franklin's at the orthodontist. She gestured to the dentist office next door. Getting fitted for braces. He has to have 2 teeth pulled. But you probably know all about that already. Actually, I didn't know anything about Franklin getting braces. I thought about the first time Franklin lost a tooth, in kindergarten. I wiggled it out for him. He cried when he saw all the blood, so I reminded him that it was good to lose a tooth. You got a treat at home under your pillow. Would Mrs. White even give him a treat for having them yanked out at age 11? So she was standing next to me now. So, Elise, what exactly happened between you and Franklin? Nothing. Really? Nothing? I have to go inside. I turned, but Mrs. White started up again. I know he acts like a tough guy, but he's really hurting. In what universe would Franklin be called a tough guy? Well, he hadn't been acting upset at school. Maybe that's what she meant. What about at home? Maybe he still wasn't talking about it there either. Why don't you come over for dinner, she offered. We can all sit down together and talk things out. I can't. Would Franklin really be eating dinner with bloody gauze in his mouth? Would he feel like talking? And what would dinner be? Plain boiled veggies over steamed rice? Maybe another night then? Tomorrow? I said I can't. I knew she wanted to help, but it made me angry. This was what was wrong to begin with. Franklin was a baby. She treated him like a baby. Let him take care of his own problems. I meant to do my homework. I really did. But I went to my bedroom, lay down with my head on the pillow. I reached my hands underneath to scrunch it properly and felt something small and metal. No way. I closed my hand around the key and headed out to the barn. Only 3 doors left. The one key fit opened... that sentence doesn't make sense. The one the key fit opened to a tiny room. The walls were covered with photographs. The name of each place was written on the matting around each picture. Geneva, Switzerland, and Beijing, China, and Johannesburg, South Africa, and about 100 other places. One frame didn't have a picture in it, but words. When I grew up, I was going to be an explorer. My dad hadn't been an explorer, though. He'd worked in a bank. The room was different from Mom's and Uncle Hugh's, not just because of the pictures. Their rooms were about what someone else thought was a good idea to know about them, but Dad's room was what he wanted me to know about himself. This time, the note said, "Treasure your life." The part of Dad who had been a little boy had left the train set in the middle of the floor. The part who had been a teenager had left 3 shelves of trophies, certificates, and ribbons. Sports awards, science fair medals. The college student left a bookshelf of notebooks and papers. There was a small journal explaining about him being sick. I had only heard that it was a kind of cancer that had spread even though they were trying to fight it. He got it about a year after my mom died. When he had started acting tired and sick, everyone had just assumed it was grief. But it wasn't. It was a relief to know that Dad had died from something that didn't have to do with me. It wasn't my fault. It had nothing to do with being sad about Mom. There were a few scrapbooks. I really liked the one full of pictures of Dad, Uncle Hugh, and Uncle Bowen as kids. They were doing happy things, playing at the lake, playing in the snow, fishing, riding bikes. Sometimes there was a 4th boy in the pictures. I'd have to ask Uncle Hugh who that was. Another book had wedding photos. Mom's bridesmaids had been in blue. A younger Aunt Bessie was one. And Uncle Hugh and Uncle Bo were Dad's groomsmen. The best man looked familiar. I took 2 scrapbooks to Uncle Hugh in his workshop. "Yeah, that's Leonard," he confirmed. "So, are all these—" I flipped through the pictures with the 4th boy. "Aw, Leonard. Aw. Look at him, little. Look at all of us. Where'd you get this?" "Upstairs. The next room's about Dad." "The next room? How'd you get into it?" A key showed up. "Jiminy Cricket." "Jiminy, Uncle." He was studying the pictures, so I let him hold on to the books and went back upstairs. The next book I found was all about Dad and Leonard. The 2 of them had had such a good time. It made me miss Franklin, and it made me miss Dad a little, which gave me an idea. "Hey, Leonard," I said, surprising him where he was stamping prices on a box of nails. "Hey there, Cricket. Alone again?" "Yeah." I followed him back to the storage room. "I'm here to call in my birthday present. A 1-day trip to a place of my choice." "Where do you want to go?" "The old lake." "You do? When we could go see a 3D movie and eat a big bucket of popcorn and wear funny glasses?" "Yep." When we could drive into the city and go to the aquarium and watch the sharks get fed?" "Yep." When we could wait until spring and go to the amusement park and eat too much cotton candy and ride on the roller coaster and listen to me complain about how my body's too old for those things? "Yep." "You know we'll do all of those things anyway." "Yep." "When do you want to do this?" "Next week. We have days off for Thanksgiving. You usually spend time with us then anyway." "We'll see. I need time to get ready for a trip like this." "It's not far, right?" "Not distance far," Leonard said. "Another kind of far." And that's what the entirety of Chapter 18 is supposed to be like. So, my apologies. And this will go up as soon as I possibly can. Be careful with that and enjoy. Please and thank you. Bye.